Good morning. My name is Karen Kong and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, and welcome to my This or That Thursday. If you're joining in live, please say hi. Let me know where you're watching from if you've never joined in before, or if you're watching on replay, same. Please let me know where you're watching from and say hi to me. I'm just going to get set up first and so I can see all the comments on my computer screen while I'm crafting. So just give me a second. So every week I try to post 2 cards in my group and I ask my crafting community, that's all of you, to vote on a card for me to make live on Thursday mornings. That's what we're doing today at 9 a.m. And I think that the majority of the votes went for this card. So it's a fun fold and really, really easy to make. So I'll show you. All right, I have you guys up. Hopefully I'm in the right spot. I don't have anybody joining in yet, but I have it all on my screen, so I think I'm ready to start rolling. Okay, so I'm going to switch over to my desktop and just close your eyes while I mount my camera, okay? How does that look? Let's just zoom in a little bit. There we go. All right, here we go. So here's the card. It's a really simple fold. It's just 3 of the same panel, same width. And the circles line up and so you can't see them when the card is closed, but then you open them and there's 3 circles that you can decorate. So the original demonstrator who I cased this from, I think her name's Paula, she had made this slightly wider, and because I'm working with 6x6 paper, so this is the Seaside Bay bundle that I'm using, and the by the Bay DSP that matches it, which is now retired, but it's 6x6 paper, and her original measurements have the DSP at 3 1/4 inches wide, which meant that if I cut it a 6x6 piece into a 3 1/4 inch wide piece, I wouldn't have enough left over to use for the second piece. So I modified it so that it would be 3 inches wide, so I could use exactly half for one panel and then the other half of the other panel, and that way I could save on the paper. Okay, so let's get started. I'm gonna make the card base first, then we'll cut like some of the DSP and the paper, and then we'll do some stamping and some die cutting. So last week was really fast. It was a super easy card. This week will probably be a bit longer because I need to do die cutting and I need to do stamping. So I better get started. Because if you've seen my lives before, you know that I am a slower stamper and I need extra time to finish my projects. So let's move these things out of the way. I have a piece of Night of Navy cardstock that I already cut for the first project, and I'm going to take the other part and cut it down to the size I need. So if you're watching for the first time, I always post the measurements afterwards in my video descriptions. You don't need to worry about writing stuff down right now. And just enjoy, okay? All right, so my original card base, the card base I use for this is 9 3/4 by 4 inches, and I scored at 3 1/4 and at 6 1/2. Okay, so let's cut it down. I'm pretty sure this is an 8 1/2 by 11 piece of cardstock that I cut for that piece. So let's just double check. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and cut it. So this needs to be 4 inches wide. So I'm going to trim this to 4 inches. Okay. If you've never used the Stampin' Up! Paper trimmer, it's the best because I can just measure right on the trimmer itself. So 4 inches wide. and then 9 3/4 the other way. So I'm going to do a little bit backwards because I know that this is an 11-inch paper, right? So if I don't want to have to stretch out the arm, I could easily do that, but I just don't have enough room on my desk to stretch it out and easily show you. So this is an 11-inch paper. So if I want 9 3/4, I'm going to cut off a 1 1/4 inches from one side. So I'm going to do it this way. 1 1/4, and that will leave me with 9 3/4 on the other side. Okay. So now I'm going to go and score at 3 1/4 inches. 3 1/4. So I'll take my scoring blade and I'll section this piece of cardstock into 3 equal sections. So 3 1/4, and then again at 6 1/2. So again, because I know they're equal, I'm going to just turn this piece of paper around. I'll do this the lazy way because again, I don't want to extend this arm off my screen. I'll score it again at 3 and what did I say? 3 1/4. Okay. And that will give me 3 equal sections of my cardstock. Okay, so for the DSP, so these 2 panels of DSP, I'm just going to take one sheet of 6 by 6, okay, and I'm going to cut it into a 3-inch wide piece. Oh, hi Sandra, good morning. Glad to see you're joining in. I was feeling a little bit lonely there. 3 inches wide. Okay, so here we go. 3 inches wide. Okay, so Sandra would appreciate this. I was saying earlier, Sandra, that the original card was using DSP that was 3 1/4 inches wide, and because this is a 6 by 6 piece of paper, if I used a 3 1/4 inch wide piece, I would have not been able to use the other half for the other panel. So I shortened it and I made it 3 inches wide instead. So now I have 2 equal pieces that I can use for both sides. Okay, so it's 3 inches wide. I'm going to cut it down to 3 3/4 long. I'm going to do both sheets at the same time. The paper trimmer can handle 2 sheets at a time, so save time by cutting both of them. Okay, 3 3/4. Oh, you know what? I think I want to cut the top section off instead, not the bottom, because I like the pattern. I don't want to lose the pattern at the bottom. 3 3/4. There we go. Okay, so now I have my 2 bottom panels. Good morning, Maureen. Hi, nice to have you join in as well. Okay, so that's my DSP. I need a piece of white that is also the same size. Let me just grab another piece of cardstock. Let me see. I have a piece of cardstock here. Let's see if this one, I don't think this one's wide enough actually. Is the leftover piece. Nope, not quite wide enough. I need to grab another piece. Okay. So what did I say? Let's see. I think I'm going to cut this 3 3/4. I'm going to cut it 3 inches this way. And then 3 3/4 on this side. Okay, so now I have my white. I think that's all the cutting I need to do right now. Okay, so this is just a tiny piece of detail. I'm looking for my bone folder, just a second. But I noticed that when I cut with my paper trimmer, I have a little bit of a raised edge, and I like to have it look finished. So I just take my bone folder and I just run it over the edges to smooth them down, and they look more finished that way. It's just a small detail, but it matters to me. I like how it looks better when it's smoothed down. Okay, so that's all I'm doing. And I'm going to fold my card base, and we'll go ahead and adhere them so I don't lose them. So it's an I don't know if it's an accordion fold, but Yeah, I see Sandra saying she has lots of pieces of scrap white. Yes, I have a whole bin full, but I always keep them around for those tiny little things you have to die cut sometimes, right? You just don't want to cut up a big piece, and I didn't have any big enough pieces for that one. So, okay, so I'm gonna fold this one way, and I'll fold it back the other way on the other side. Yeah, oh, a Z fold. Yes, you're right. That would be a Z fold. Yeah. And again, I can see like there's a little bit of a lip on my paper, so I'm just going to run my bone folder over them to make it flat. Okay, so really easy. We're just going to stick this, center it, and stick it right on top. Let me get Stamp and Seal. Okay. Okay, and then the middle component, I need my white. And you can stamp this before you put it on. I decided to leave it blank because there's not a whole lot of room to work with. And this type of card, like, I feel like it's like a little note card for, so like you're going to send it to a friend. So I'm just going to leave it blank so that whoever is going to use it has room to write something to their friend. Oh, you're packing already. Nice. Yes, so I have a class going on tomorrow night. It's my Stamp a Stack class. We're using the One Horse Sleigh DSP. It is so nice. I am really excited. I have 6 cards. Can you believe it, Sandra? We are going to do 6 cards tomorrow night. I made sure not to make them super complicated because I've made that mistake before, and we've been up till, I hate to say, 11? No, 10:30? What was it? That was crazy. Late, but you know, I have very dedicated crafters and enthusiastic crafters who are in it all the way with me. So I was very fortunate that you guys didn't bail. But I'm not making that mistake for this class coming up. There's 6 cards, and they're on the simpler side, and I think they look fantastic. I'm really happy with them. And I'm looking forward to sharing them. Did you not know, Sandra, that it was for 6 cards? It's 6 cards tomorrow. Stamp a Stack. Okay, so now I have my 3 panels done. Okay, easy peasy. All right. So I actually have my circles. Like, I have leftover circles from another project. I found them in my scrap bin and I kept them, and I'm so glad I did because the navy ones are perfect for the background of my my stamp here. So they will fit right here, right? Again, I will post the measurements after I'm done. So my navy ones are already cut because they're scraps. But these ones are also scraps, but they're bigger, right? So I'm going to stamp them first and then I'll cut them down to size afterwards. Okay, so let's do some stamping, and I'm just debating whether or not I should do the die cutting, but you know what, I'll save that because we have to die cut all this. So let's do the stamping first. Okay, so I have 3 images that I chose from the Seaside Bay, and I'm gonna get my Stamparatus. I know. Nobody can get the Stamparatus anymore from the from Stampin' Up, and I torture all those people who don't have it. I hope that everybody who's watching has one already because it's like the best tool. And I need it to do like the shading on my bird. So my bird is 2 colors. He's Sahara Sand with a tiny bit of early Expresso to just darken his beak and his feathers, his feet. Okay, so I need the Stamparatus in order to do that. Let me just get out my stamps. Okay, so let's do the bird first. I'll show you what I mean. Oh, your deckled circles. you have new stuff. I have an order arriving Friday, and I'm sure that I'm gonna want to play with new stuff too. Okay, I need a circle, and I'm just gonna position it here. I always make sure to line it up in a spot that I'm pretty sure I can try to remember to put it back on, because if it moves by accident, then I have a small chance of getting it right on again. Okay, so let's stamp the bird. Okay, Sahara Sand. And I need a dauber. Where did I put my dauber? Oh, here it is. Okay. All right, Sahara Sand. Oh, your clearance order. Yes, all the goodies from the clearance section. I love a good deal. Yep, I did order some clearance stuff too. I got some of those craft boxes for packaging up cards for giving away. I love those, because I do give a bunch of those away as gifts for Christmas, or for, you know, for classes, for prizes sometimes. They're pretty handy. Okay, so I've done the Sahara Sand, and I'm just going to take a sponge dauber and put a little bit of early Expresso to give some shading. Okay, so I'm just going to tap this off a little bit. Wait, I need a scrap. Of course, when I'm looking for scrap, oh here, I'm just going to tap it off to the side. I have a piece of scrap off to the side there. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to tap a little bit on his face, a little bit on his back, beak, a little bit on his feet. Let's see how that turns out. There we go. So now you can see, now I can clearly see his eye. I couldn't see that before, but now I can see it. So that's good. I don't think I'll add any more. All right. Let me clean them off and then put them away. So fall is definitely in the air. The trees are changing colors. I can't stop it from changing. Summer is officially over. I'm so sad. Oh, you know what I want to do is I also want to add some sand on him. Just a second. Okay, so I'm just going to get rid of that magnet because it's in the way. I'm going to take the Sahara Sand. And I have the sand already mounted on a clear block because I wanted to be able to move it around. So I'm just going to freehand it. I'm just going to add some sand underneath him. And luckily sand is, you know, doesn't have to be uniform, so I don't have to be perfect. Oh, that's good. All right, I'm going to leave that out because I'm going to need it for the other ones too. Okay, so that's one. Let's do another one. Oh, these magnets are so strong. I have to put new tape on here and I keep forgetting. You usually have like a washi tape or something on there to make it easier to lift, but I haven't done that. My last one ripped and I need to replace it. Okay, let's do the crab. Where's my crab? I'm thinking that okay, so originally I did the crab in a Calypso coral. I'm debating whether or not I should do it in Petal Pink you know, because I'm matching the colors in the DSP, and this is a Petal Pink. I don't know, what do you think? Calypso Coral or Petal Pink? Maybe we'll try the Petal Pink this time, just to see. Yeah, let's leave it the Petal Pink and see how it looks. One side looks a little bit darker. So I think I'm going to ink up the other side and just add a little bit more color. Just really gently tapped it. Oh, there. Now it's more even. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to leave that. Oh, good. Sandra agrees. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to clean that off before I get it ink anywhere. And we'll add sand all around our crab. Okay, where did my sand go? Oh, here it is. Okay. So, there we go. So I added sand all around him because I feel like he's going to be hanging out in the sand for the most part. There. Okay, so I'm going to be cutting him out in a circle, so I'm not going to worry about everything getting sand. Okay, one more. Okay, I'm reading Sandra's comment. Cheery Patterns Embossing folder. I don't know which one that is. I don't recall what embossing folder that is. That's weird. I really love embossing folders, so I thought I would recognize that, but for some reason I don't recall what it looks like. Is that in the new mini, or is that in the annual catalog? Or was that a clearance item, perhaps? Okay, I'm going to do the seashell in Balmy Blue. Let's put this away. Weird. Where's my Balmy Blue? I must have put that away. Oh, yes, I put it away by accident. Okay. Balmy Blue. Let's see. Oh, I'm afraid if I click on your picture that I won't be able to somehow disturb the Facebook Live. I'm not sure what will happen. I'm afraid to click on it. I'll have to look at that after. All right. Oh, I can see there's a little bald spot right here that I didn't press hard enough on. Okay, good enough. You know what? It's a little bit blurry, and you know why? I remember, and you can see now on my ink pad that I had brushed the ink to one side. So if you've had this problem before where the image looks not as crisp as it should be, what may have happened is that you may have a very juicy ink pad. And I'm just going to flip this over and I'm going to stamp it again. So, but this time I'm going to take a straight edge, and I just keep an old credit card around, an expired one, and I just brush the ink to the side. Okay, and then all the excess ink is on one side. And then when it inks up my image, it won't bead up so much because it won't be so wet. And then you won't get a blobby effect. See, I think that's clearer. Yeah, that looks clearer to me. Maybe it's just my imagination, but it looks clearer to me. Oh, Sandra said it was in the new... It's a new embossing folder in the mini. Okay, I'll have to go back and look at that. It's easy to overlook something sometimes, isn't it? Okay. So I also, if you look at this one, I did the pearl in Petal Pink and I fussy cut it. There's actually a die for the pearl, but it leaves a white border. And because this is within the clamshell, I felt it would look better if I just fussy cut the pearl instead. So I will stamp that in a second, but right now I'm going to put my sand around my clamshell, or oyster shell. It's not a clamshell. Let's see. Okay, I think that's pretty good. There's a little bit of a bare spot there. I think I'll add a little bit more sand. There we go. Okay, let's leave that. And I'm going to get the Petal Pink back out so that we can stamp the pearl. Okay, I think I cleaned this off already. I can't remember. I think I did, just in case. Okay, so there's a single pearl here. And I have a little block for this. Okay, I find it's easier to use a small block for tiny, I mean, I could use a Stamparatus, but I'll just use a small block for controlling my stamping, because otherwise, like with a big block, I may roll it by accident without even realizing it. Now I need to find a spare piece of white. I'm sure I can find one. Okay, let's see if this is wide enough. I think it's wide enough, yeah. See those, like, what is that, a half-inch strip, quarter-inch strip? Half-inch strip. Petal Pink, where'd it go? Okay. All those half-inch strips that you take off when you're making cards and stuff. I have tons of those, so let's not waste it. This is a perfect opportunity. Okay. All right, so let's fussy cut this. So Canadian Thanksgiving is coming up soon, only a couple weeks away. I was just in Toronto for my sister's birthday, and we decided not to make another trip so soon. So we'll be hanging out in Ottawa for Thanksgiving, and we ended up actually inviting friends of ours over for dinner, so that will be our Thanksgiving celebration. I don't ever do a turkey. I've never done a turkey. Usually I'm enjoying turkey at somebody else's house. I usually do ham or something untraditional. I just don't think I have a big enough fridge to put everything in. Like, you know, when you brine a turkey, you need room in the fridge to brine it, right? And then where do you put all the rest of the food? So, and plus we don't have like big turkey eaters here in our house. Okay, I'm just going to glue this pearl on before I lose it. Where's my glue? Oh, with a clear emboss. That's a really good idea, Sandra. I like that idea. I would have to try that another time. So like, I guess I would, if I want to keep the color of the pearl, I would have to stamp over it again with the Versamark and then add like a clear embossing powder. I've never tried that. I don't know if I have clear, actually. I'd have to check. I have a lot of like embossing powders in my stash from pre-Stampin' Up. And I don't know if I have clear in there. I have white, black, red, I think, gold, silver. I don't know if I have clear. That's weird. Okay. Let me just think. One more bit of stamping. Oh no, I have the sentiments to stamp. Okay, You've Been on My Mind is actually from the Succulents. Oh, Ellen says packing tape. Yes, I think I've heard of that trick too. Do you mean just like covering it with packing tape and then cutting it out, right? Yeah, that would be an easy way to do it. Okay. I'm so bad at multitasking. What was I going to do? Oh, I was getting the sentiments out. I got that from the No. Yes, it is. Okay, Simply Succulents, that's where it came from. And The Biggest Wish, which is over here, is where I got Friend from. Okay. All right. So let's get out Simply Succulents. I'm going to have to use the Stamparatus because I am notorious for rolling my sentiments or pressing too hard and then they don't look nice. I'm going to need a bigger piece of scrap. Let's see. And I need to make sure it fits the die. So the die is from the Status Shapes set. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to check. Both options are good. Okay. Oh, there we go. It's stuck. Okay, so yes, this... I was going to check the paper. Yes, the paper does fit. Okay, here we go. So just lining it up. All right. And I'm just going to check that this lines up on my grid because sometimes the image on the back does not match the image on the placement of the image on the front. So I always use the grid lines to help me check that my stamped image will be straight. So I'm just going to, it looks pretty good. I'm just going to move it up just a tiny bit. But let's go ahead and stamp that in Night of Navy. Oh, I think this is another juicy one. Let me just get a piece of scrap because I don't want it to be all blobby. Okay, I'm just going to stamp it off before I clear it off because it's very wet looking. Yeah, that's okay. Yes, this one was very wet. It's a very juicy ink pad, and now I remember that yesterday I inked up my fingers because, oh look, you can still see they're blue. Because I was touching the straight edge on this by accident after I pushed the ink to one side. Okay, so I've got the ink pushed to one side. I gotta clear this off, it's all covered in blue. Okay, so now let's ink it up again. See if we get, oh good, this looks better. Do you see how that's not as, you know, heavily inked and wet? Okay. And just going to do it a second time. I'm just going to touch it down. All right. Oh, I wonder if I put that too high. I think it'll be okay. I think I might have put that too high. Do you see how the dye might be off the page, and then I won't get the full. Okay, let's try that again. See, this is reality crafting. I'm actually going to move it over because I found that I couldn't press the U in the sentiment down very far because it was raised too high because it's closer to the hinge. Okay, let's try this again. I'm going to put it lower here. And that will give me plenty of room to cut. Okay, again, just a quick check. Okay. Okay, one more time. Maybe it's not just me. Maybe the rubber is not cut exactly the same height. Okay, I think that's good enough. Yeah, I know. So same here, Sandra. Here you are. You think you're like trying to save paper, but then I wasted it because I put it too far up. No worries. We've got lots of scrap white, right? All right. So, oh, I took it away too soon. I have to do friends. Okay. So let's remove this one and put this one back. All right, here's another piece of scrap. Oh, this, you know what? The Biggest Wish die stamps, they are photopolymer, so I need to put my pad back in. Okay. So the photopolymer stamps don't have any cushioning. There's no foam behind the stamp, so we need the foam on the Stamparatus to make it high enough for stamping. I know, this stamp set really needs coordinating dies. I totally agree. I try not to pick the ones that don't have dies, but you know, there's just too many of them. There's ones that they come out with that I'm like, oh, I really like that, and there's no way around it. I have to fussy cut. I'm just making sure this is lined up. Okay. I'll get the Night of Navy out. I'm going to just brush the ink to one side once more because it's been a few minutes. And I just want to make sure that I don't get really wet stamp images. Okay. Okay. Pretty good. Up here I can see it's a little bit white, so I'm just going to add a tiny bit there. There we go. Perfect. Looks nice. Yeah, especially for the scripted words, like those are the harder parts to cut out. Like this is like pretty much a block. I can just use the the trimmer to cut that down, which is exactly what I'm going to do. Okay, I'll leave that since I don't need this anymore. Let's get the trimmer out. I think I'm going to trim a little bit off the top too. Let me just see how much room I left. Yeah, I think I left it a little skinnier than that. I'm going to trim off this side first. There we go. Great. And like I usually do, I press down the edges so they lie nice and flat. There we go. All right, I think we are at the die cutting stage next. So I need my circle die, and I'm gonna grab my cut and emboss machine. I have my mini here, so it doesn't take up so much room. Okay, let me move that out of the way. Okay, so we're gonna cut these images out so they fit onto my navy blue Night of Navy mats. Okay, so let's center this here. Oh, actually, I probably should have waited to adhere my pearl, but no big deal. Okay. So if you know with the mini, you have to kind of not align these edges. You need a little space there so it catches properly. There's one. And the last one here. Oh, I'm gonna have to reposition this a little bit. So those are all my circles all done. Now the other thing I have on my card is, oh yes, I die cut my sentiment, and I die cut some, I don't know, it's not seaweed, like aquatic plant life. But let me do the sentiment first. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to grab a piece of washi tape to make sure this doesn't move, because I've used this die several times and it's a little bit warped, so it doesn't sit quite flat. I'm just making sure it looks straight before I cut it, or before I tape it down. So let's just tape it down over here. Yeah, so Sandra, are you sticking around for Thanksgiving this year? Anybody else celebrating Canadian Thanksgiving? What are your plans? And is there going to be turkey on the menu? There we go. I have to decide what I'm going to make. I don't know what I'm going to do. I think ham is probably going to be a good choice. But we'll see. I have one vegetarian that I have to accommodate as well. Okay, so, oh, I took it away too soon. I need to cut the plant life. Okay, so I have, okay, so if you notice, there's like a little bit of texture, a little bit of patterning in here in some of the leaves. And what I did is I die cut from the DSP itself. I took a different DSP and I'm gonna die cut from there. All right, so let's put this here, and it'll just make it like a little more interesting in terms of color. Oh, this will fit right there. Perfect. Okay. Oh, and it's on the wrong plate. Ah, I see. Okay, ham for Thanksgiving for you too. Okay, so when you prepare your turkey, like how do you fit everything in your fridge with the turkey in it? Like, I don't know. I always have leftovers and other stuff to fit in my fridge, and I don't know how I'm gonna fit like a turkey and like all the other stuff and the week's leftovers. All right. Okay, I need my pick tool. Okay, this was a surprise to me. I knew in the back of my head that there was another tip on the other side of the spatula, but I did not realize it was such a fine tip because I was always using a stylus from my stash that was not Stampin' Up. But look, I do actually have one. See how that looks? It looks a little much like more interesting than just a straight color. There we go. All right. And I'm also going to cut some, oh, you have 2 fridges? Seriously? So lucky. My sister Kathy has 2 fridges too. Where's your second one? Is it in the basement or something? I have 2 freezers. Like I have a big upright freezer that's packed full in our basement. Okay, so this is Coastal Cabana. Again, I'm picking colors from the DSP. This is, and I just use whatever matches. If you check the back of your DSP pack, the label always has the colors being used. So that's how you pick coordinating colors. Makes it really easy. Upstairs kitchen and the downstairs. Oh yeah, that's right. You have a downstairs kitchen. I don't know if I've ever seen it, so forgotten about that. Yeah, very, very lucky. Having a second fridge would be amazing. Okay, so I've got one in Coastal Cabana, and I did one in vellum too. And I turned it around. You can't tell it's the back side, but it's actually the back side instead, so I could have it facing the other way. Let me just get out a piece of vellum. Oh look, I have leftover vellum that I cut from something else. I'm just gonna pull this piece off. Okay, so I'm gonna cut from here. Let's turn this way, it'll go through easier. There we go. All right, so now I have all my pieces cut. I think I can put this away now. All right, and I'm going to put this die away before I lose it. Well, apparently I've lost the stamp set case. Oh, I know where it is. There we go. Oh, I didn't cut, oh yeah, I did cut a big piece. There we go. All right. Good, good. All right, so let's put these pieces together now. Okay, so the circles obviously go on top of the matting layers. Where did my other one go? There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna grab some glue. I don't like to use too much glue because sometimes if it's really wet, you can see where the glue kind of wet the paper, and so I try not to use too much glue. There we go. Okay, so those are done. Oh, I know why I had a spare piece of blue, Balmy Blue. I put it underneath my sentiments just to give it a little color. So let me just measure that out. So I just need a little bit shorter than 2 3/4 inches for that. And my friend one is shorter, right? Yeah, okay. So let me just take this trimmer out. Sorry, I'm almost off the screen here. Let me see. So I'm going to trim it down to, let's see, 3/8 of an inch, maybe? I don't need a lot. Just trying to think, how much did I do the first time? I'm going to just do a 1/2 inch, and it'll be right in the middle. And then I don't have to cut twice. Oh. And then I said 2 3/4 inches, I think, for that one. So let's just 2 3/4, so maybe like that. Let's see. Doesn't have to be exact, just something a bit shorter. And actually, you know what? I'm gonna have to cut it skinnier because you can see the blue on the side, so. Okay, so this is why I love the paper trimmer. This Stamparatus paper trimmer can handle the skinniest little pieces. I would not be able to do this on my old trimmer because it would not be able to hold these little pieces still. So there are guides at the top, but I find that pressing down on the ruler, like this part where it holds the blades, also helps keep it in place. And look at that, nice straight cut. Look at that. Okay, so is that short enough? Oh, even that's not short enough. I can see it peeking at the sides. I can't believe I made it so skinny. Again, I would not be able to do this on a regular paper trimmer. Okay, this must be fine. Yes, that's finally okay. All right, so we'll leave that, and we'll take the other piece. I'm just gonna measure how long this was. I'll match this one exactly. It's 1 3/4. So let's trim that down, 1 3/4, right there. Okay. Let's assemble that. So my glue, I'm just going to put it along the top edge here. I don't need much. And I can see it's peeking out just a little bit there on the side, but I can just trim that off with scissors if I really want. Okay, and then this one, same deal. Let's just put a little bit of glue along the edge. Okay. You can see why it takes so long, because I am really picky with the details. Okay, I can see like tiny corners peeking out here, and I'm just going to take my snips and trim them. Okay. All right, so let's do the circles first. Okay, I'll give those time to dry. So I'm just going to center this guy. This is my front, yeah, okay. I'm just going to center him right there. Now you're going to want to make sure that you only put adhesive on the back of the lower half of this circle. So I'm just going to flip this over, and I'm going to use Stamp and Seal so that it doesn't end up moving around because it's wet. Okay, so I'm just going to center this right here, halfway down. Okay, just want to tilt it a little bit more. The full height of the card, actually I didn't measure, I can tell you right now. It is 5 1/8 actually. I mean, I could put this higher. If I put it a little bit higher, it would be higher, right? Okay, so that's like, I've eyeballed it. It looks halfway to me. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is open it up, and I'm going to put my crab here. So again, I have to make sure that I'm going to be putting it on the lower half only. Okay, so I'm just going to flip it over like this, and I'm just going to put it adhesive right there. Okay, and now I'm going to line it up with my other circle. So I'm just going to use my fingers to guide me, and that looks pretty much the same. Okay, right? Okay, last one. Okay, so again, I want it to be on the half, so lower half only. Okay, and the way I'm going to do this last one is I'm actually going to put him, face down over here, okay? On top of that card, that circle. And then I'm going to close this piece on top. And that way I know he's aligned. And I'm just going to turn him a bit. I didn't press really hard, so now I have the opportunity to turn it just a little bit, change his orientation, and it still matches. If I used glue, I would have some play time on that. Okay, but really it wasn't that hard. So now those are all lined up. Perfect. Yeah, it fits into a standard envelope, no problem. And I even made it, you know, skinnier because I wanted to use a 3-inch wide piece of DSP. Okay, so I put the little plant things together first. So I actually assembled them together first. I'm just going to use little dots of glue. Oh yeah, that would be a good slimline. I'd have to change the design a little bit though, I think, because then I'd have a lot of empty space. Okay, so I'm just gonna, whoops, it stuck to me. Stay there. I'm gonna add a little bit of glue for this one. I'm just gonna tilt it so it's like that. And then this one, I'm using the back side of the vellum so that instead of facing all the same way, it'll be the other way. There we go. All right, and then I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the back so that I can glue it down to my card. Okay, approximately here, I guess. I'm going to use dimensionals to pop these up so it doesn't sit on top of my sea life. Whoops. Oh, hi Tanya. I'm glad you made it. I'm a slow crafter, so you haven't missed everything. And you can always watch the replay. There we go. All right. So, oh, I want to center that, and that looks good. Okay, and then I think the last thing is to just put this one in the center here. So I'm just going to use, I think I'll use glue dots. Because there's like 2 pieces of cardstock here. There's a very, very, very minor difference in height. So I'm going to use glue for this side because there's only 1 piece of cardstock there. And then for the bottom part, I'm going to use liquid glue just because it won't add any height at all. Whereas the glue dots will add just a tiny bit of height, and then it will lie flatter. And there you go. There we go. That's my card. So really easy. The assembly is really easy. I mean, super easy to put these circles together as I showed you. It's just really the last one was the only trick. Maybe you have a better way of putting it together, but I found that pretty easy to do it that way. And it looks different, right? And you just need a nice piece of DSP to jazz it up. And yeah, if you use like the modified measurements, then you can use just 1 piece of 6x6 and get both panels. So anyways, I'll post that in the details and the measurements in the video description later. And I would love to see it, whatever you guys create with this layout. I did like the other layout too. The other layout was very easy to pull together. For the other card, I'll bring that one in. Super easy. You just need like a full matting for the back. I embossed it, added like, how big is this? A 1 3/4 inch wide piece of DSP. I did some, used my cloud die to die cut like a border so I could use it as a mask to put a cloud behind my owl. These are from the sheep die set. Remember those? The counting sheep? And then congratulations. So, you know, cute card. It was really, really easy to pull together. But yeah, beautiful card. Thank you, Maureen. Thanks. Thanks, Tanya. Glad you enjoyed it. You can go back and watch the replay on how to make it, but it's really easy. So yeah, if you guys make something, I would love to see it posted in the comments to see what else, what other designs you came up with, because the original demonstrator used this with the birds that are in the are they in the mini? I don't remember. No, I think they're in the new annual, but they're really cute birds. I don't have that set, so I had to pick something different, but she made a really cute card with the birds in it. So yeah, post your creations if you make something with this layout and Funfold. In the meantime, have a great, great day, and I will see you next week for more crafting. Bye!